Right back.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and Assalamu alaikum viewers. My name is Abeera, Saeed FreelancingWali, and I am a level 1 student at Farhan School, Islamabad campus. So viewers, today we are very a special guest with us. Name is Dave Ross. So let's start our interview. So Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
How are you, Dave Ross?
I am fine. I'm excited about this interview.
Okay, so my first question is to introduce yourself for my audience who can see you and listen you.
Okay. I am a public speaker. I was one time a world champion of public speaking in 1991. I spent some time in the United States Air Force, and I've traveled to many different countries in the world, but not yet to Pakistan. So, not yet.
Okay, so my next question is this: what branch of the military did Dave Ross serve in?
I served in the United States Air Force. I was in the Air Force for 25 and a half years before I retired.
Okay, so my next question is this: what rank did Dave Ross return with?
I retired as a lieutenant colonel.
Okay, that's amazing. So my next question is: how many hours did Dave Ross fly during his Air Force career?
During my career in the Air Force, I have to think. I know it was just under 10,000 hours of flight time. Not a lot, but compared to some other people, but it was a good period of time for me.
Okay, that's amazing. So my next question is: what types of uh, aircraft did Dave Ross mostly fly?
It was the AWACS airplane. It's an airplane that has a dish on it. It has radar so it can see other airplanes, and a lot of radio so you can talk to a lot of people in the air and people on the ground as well. That was the airplane that I flew the most on. I flew on some other ones as well, but that was the one I worked with.
Okay, that amazing, Dave Ross. So my next question from you is this: please tell me, our audience, what kind of mission did Dave Ross fly?
We flew surveillance missions a lot. We flew areas that were of concern, like around the border, to catch people trying to smuggle illegal drugs into the United States. We flew missions that if an unknown aircraft would fly into the United States, we would get that information and we would tell the interceptors who would catch up with that airplane to see who they were and get them in. So those are the major type of missions I flew when I was in the Air Force. It was the interesting thing about the aircraft is that we flew a lot of hours in the air, but we always landed, not always, but often we landed at the same place we took off from. We didn't go anywhere.
Okay, that's amazing. So my next question is this: what leadership role did Dave Ross have in?
The leadership roles I had in the Air Force were very different and just in the number of people I supervised over time. So as a new officer, I had maybe one person who was under my leadership. As time went on, I was a commander of a recruiting squadron. This was a squadron to ask people to join the Air Force. So I had 100 people there. Most of them were military. Some of them were also civilians who helped us with our job. And it was in areas, well, Chicago, and that was part of my area, a big city. They also had a lot of farmland, a lot of rural areas where there were people who lived on a farm and went and asked them to join the Air Force as well. It was a lot of fun. because I had a chance to do a lot of this, things like this, do interviews with people on the radio and on television, and answer questions about the Air Force.
Okay, that's amazing. So my next question is what? Sorry, with which international speaking organized has Dave Ross been associated?
International organizations, well, the major one is Toastmasters International. I've been with Toastmasters a long, long time. And I joined officially in 1976, but my first meeting with Toastmasters was in 1971. I was a high school student at that time and actually too young to join, but this club let us participate even though we were high school students. And I really, I really think I'm probably going to be a member of Toastmasters my whole life. It's it's a great organization because it is international. Almost any country you can go to, I think we're in 140 countries now, maybe a little bit more. And so almost any country you can go to, you can find a Toastmasters organization.
Okay, that's amazing. They are all very interesting. I will appreciate for you. Thank you. My next question is, please tell me our audience, what title do you earn from international?
Oh, with Toastmasters International, I am a distinguished Toastmaster, DTM, and that is the highest level in the, I want to say that it's not a training program, but in the personal development program of Toastmasters. There are various levels, and the highest level is DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster. I am also a world champion of public speaking in 1991, which is another title that I carry in Toastmasters.
Okay, so my next question is this, in which year did Dave Ross become world champion of public speaking?
It was in 1991, a long time ago, long before you were born. It may even been
Uh,
before your parents were born. But
okay, so my next question is, why is Dave Ross considered a greater communication?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? I couldn't hear.
Okay, I'm saying that why is considered a communicator?
Am I considered a communicator?
Yes.
Yes, I am. Again, this is something I've done for a long time, a large part of my life. And public speaking, doing training workshops. I've had my own podcast and interviewed people like you. So these are the things that I've done. I did some time in radio, a little bit of television for a local station for the schools. And this is what I do. I talk. And hopefully I listen too.
Yes. So my next question is this: what makes Dave Ross life experience diverse?
That's a good question. What makes my life experience so diverse? Well, I've done a lot of different things. I've done a lot of, again, public speaking. I did a lot of things in the Air Force, from jumping out of airplanes, parachuting, to again flying missions to inspect or detect aircraft coming into the United States, or other areas where we were allies with. I've traveled quite a bit. I've been to quite a number of different countries. I currently spend a lot of my time in the Philippines, although right now, today, I'm in the United States. So I love to travel. I've seen a lot of the world and I want to see a whole lot more. As I said, I haven't been to Pakistan yet. I hope to fix that one day soon. But yeah, those are a lot of the different activities, experiences I've had, as well as things as a public speaker. I've gone and presented speeches to organizations and to official events. I've done training where I would train people on a variety of things, including public speaking, but also time management, leadership, team building, those sorts of things. And I love those things. I love to do that. That's one of the things I'm really passionate about.
Okay, that's great. That's amazing. Very interesting. I will appreciate for you. Thank you. So my next question is, how many foreign countries have traveled you?
Okay, I think my last count was about 28 foreign countries, different countries.
Oh
Um,
my God! Yeah, wow.
yes, I hope to add some more. Like I said, Pakistan. I've been to Pakistan. I haven't been to Australia, New Zealand. I want to go to Vietnam. Which one? Other ones are on my list. I hope to do in the
You
next year or two. So a lot of places to go.
okay? You visit Pakistan or no?
Pardon?
I'm saying you are visited Pakistan or no?
I want to go to Pakistan. I really do. When I was in the Air Force and we were working in Saudi Arabia, I got to work with Pakistani military people who were also there in Saudi Arabia at the time, and I was very impressed with their. Well, there's a thing called military presence. You know, when you're a soldier, you just look a certain way, you act a certain way, and every country it's kind of the same. And so I had a lot of Saudi friends, but wasn't able to make a lot of Pakistani friends. I want to fix that.
Okay, so my next question is, how many U.S. states have Devros visited?
I visited almost all of the 50 states in America. I have not visited South Dakota. I've been to North Dakota, but not South Dakota. So I have to get to South Dakota. And I've been to two U.S. territories. These are not states, but they're part of the United States. I've been to Puerto Rico and Guam, and I think that's it. Yeah, but I've been to all of them, almost all of them. Just one state and a couple U.S. territories I haven't. Oh, I was at Pelew, which is it's it is associated with the United States. It's not an official territory, I think, anymore. But anyway, I've been to different places.
Okay, that's great. So my next question is, how did Devros help small business?
How did I do what in business?
How did you help small business?
Oh, help small businesses. Well, one of the things I did with some businesses is I helped them learn to work as a team, to work together. Sometimes when you have five or more people, it's hard all of the time to keep them working together. I know you've seen that in school. So sometimes small businesses needed help with that. Sometimes they would need help with learning how to manage different programs. The US government provides money for small businesses for them to grow. So I would help them grow and use that money properly so that it help their businesses grow. I did also public speaking training with small businesses and small business owners. One of the great things I think about your program at your school is you at a very young age are doing podcasts like these. It helps you gain more confidence to speak to other people, learn how to ask questions, learn different things. And sometimes in a small business, somebody doesn't speak, they're very shy. They start a business, but as the business grows, they have to sell. They have to talk to the different community organizations and other businesses, and they're uncomfortable. They're a little scared to do that. So I would help business owners and different people in their businesses learn how to sell, learn how to communicate, learn how to expand their capabilities by just talking and listening to others. Uh-oh.
Hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Can you?
It's good.
Okay, that's it. So my next question is, what role did you play in coaching public speaker?
I'm sorry. Say that again about public speakers. This connection
What
is.
role?
Uh-huh.
What role did play in coaching and public speaker?
Oh, okay. Yes, I coach a lot of speakers. Uh, I sometimes in Toastmasters we have again speech contests, so a lot of them will seek my help in that. But others who want to become better public speakers, it's to me, public speaking is an art form, and it's a skill that you develop by learning, trying different things to communicate and connect with an audience, making what you say easy to understand, easy to remember, and to have an impact on the audience. You can say, for instance, if someone was talking about a very exciting time they had, I don't know, maybe they went on a hike somewhere and a bear appeared or a tiger appeared out somewhere and how they survived. They could say, I saw a tiger and I ran away. Okay, but how do you tell that so it becomes more interesting? You can describe where you were. You can describe what you felt when you saw the tiger. You can describe the tiger and then how you ran away and then what happened. And that makes the story more interesting. It makes it more memorable and it has more impact on the listener. The listener gathers all that information and remembers it better. So helping people do that, construct their speech and how they speak. So they deliver their presentation, not only the words that they say, but the way they say those words have an impact and improve the way they communicate with others.
Okay, that's great. So my next question is this: please tell our audience why a real life story in public speaking.
About my life story in public speaking?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's a long story. It started when I was a little bit older than you because we had a public speaking and debate team when I was in school. And I started there. And then in high school, I was a little more serious about public speaking. I learned, again, in school, it's an academic thing. So there was a lot of study and research, and then you give your speech. You would learn how to quote different people from different books or different articles, and then design it to make a message. Or for debate, there'd be a resolution, resolve that, whatever it is, and then you would debate for the resolution or against the resolution. And your teachers would coach you on the best way to present. I did that in high school, and then I was the one who gave the graduation speech for my class. And I mentioned that because that was a really exciting moment for me, and I got a standing ovation from the parents, the teachers, and the students after my speech. So that meant a lot to me. In addition to that, I attended my first Toastmasters meeting and fell in love with Toastmasters. Then when I was in college, I was also on the speech and debate team. I found other avenues to do public speaking while I was in college. And once I graduated from college, I joined Toastmasters. Toastmasters was such a wonderful thing for me because not only did it help me speak better and communicate better, I made friends all over the world through Toastmasters. And so it's been a big part of my life. And today, well, I also do speaking as a professional speaker where someone will hire me to do a presentation or to do training for their organization, as I mentioned before. So that's also a way, that since I retired from the Air Force, that I find another way to earn a living by being a professional public speaker.
Okay, that's great, amazing. So my next question is this: please tell me our audience how might military experience shape leadership skills?
Okay, leadership skills are wonderful to develop. And for me, my growth in leadership started in high school. I was involved in various organizations where I had to take a leadership role. And I experienced that with different clubs, with student organizations, where I was a leader at some level or another. When I went to college at the Air Force Academy, and the Air Force Academy itself trained us for 4 years. Not only did we take math and history and physics and all those other courses, but they also trained us in leadership. And coming into the Air Force, again, as I rose in my rank in the Air Force, I gained greater and greater leadership responsibilities. So all of those things fed to my leadership development, and so did Toastmasters. When you're in Toastmasters, the leadership of the individual club, there's an organization that keeps the club going, recruits new members, and makes sure that members are growing and reaching their goals. Outside of the club in Toastmasters, you can have leadership roles where you supervise, or I don't say supervise, you help several clubs. And then beyond that, you have leadership roles that are even bigger in the number and scope of people. So leadership has been another big part of my life. It is something that it's hard to explain in some ways, and it's hard to say what it is, because a leader is different in different roles in different situations. Your teachers are leaders, definitely, but they might lead you differently if they were your parents, or they might lead differently if they ran a business. So you understand that the dynamic of the people that you're leading, the environment that you're leading them in, the goals of the organization all determine the best way to lead and motivate people. So I think second to public speaking, leadership is one of the things that I've studied the most and the longest within in my entire life.
Okay, that's great. So my next question is this: please, tell me, our audience, what is jumping out of airplane consider a bold experience?
Oh, that was a wonderful experience. Well, uh, you might think I did have a parachute. I didn't jump without the parachute, but I did this I'm in the Air Force, but I went with the Army and learned how they did it. And it was interesting on two. First of all, I learned how the Army did things, which is different from how the Air Force does things. And secondly, it was interesting because we did it as a whole team. It wasn't just one person jumping out of an airplane. It was all of us. And that made it a little more interesting itself. But the whole excitement of walking out of an airplane and there's nothing below you. You walk or you jump out of it, and then later your parachute opens and then you land. So it's an entirely different experience. Um, there were other things that I'd done similar to that, where it's kind of a free fall thing, a different type of parachuting, and those those things are exhilarating. They're a little bit scary. I have to say that they're a little bit scary, but when you train well, when you know your equipment is good, it's not all that scary. You just want to make sure that you do everything right.
Okay, that's great. So my next question is this: please tell our audience how to experience how build consider.
Boy, can you say that again, please? How to experience what?
I'm saying that. Sorry, what academic degree did earn from the Air Force Academic?
Okay, from when I graduated from the Air Force Academy, I had a bachelor's of science in history, and but as a history major at the Air Force Academy at that time, I also had the equivalent of a minor degree in engineering, because I took physics and chemistry, a lot of math, uh, mechanical engineering, aeronautical engineering, astronomical engineering, um, aeronautical engineering, all these engineering courses. And it was designed so that as a history major, I would have a background in sciences and in math. By the same token, the science and engineering majors had to take history, political science, philosophy, law, a foreign language, and those sorts of things. So they had a good foundation in what's called the social sciences, beyond the math and engineering science. So it was a well-rounded education. I then got a master's degree in the liberal arts discipline. So I did that after I graduated from the Air Force Academy, and I hope one day to get a doctorate it's if I can work that into my schedule. But I really feel the need to do that.
Okay, so your story and your life journey and you are telling for our audience very interesting. I will appreciate you. Your journey is very amazing. Wow. So my next question is, why does Deborah believe life stories are the best education?
Oh goodness, life stories are the best. When people tell you, sort of like we're doing, but you meet them, in outside at a coffee shop or in the market or somewhere, you meet someone and they start telling you about their life stories. It's so exciting. It's so rich. It means you're connecting with someone in a very human way. That you learn more about them. I'll give you an example. I was flying to Alaska, and there was a woman on board from England who was flying to Alaska with us. It was a long flight. There were no movies on the flight, no entertainment. So we all started talking. And the woman worked for a soccer team, as Americans call it, but everybody else calls it a football team in England called the Arsenal. Now, she was teasing the Americans because she says our soccer is not, again, our football is not as good. And well, it's kind of true. And she talked about how great Arsenal was, and she worked for Arsenal. And I was very impressed. Now, at that time, I watched a little bit of English football, not a lot, but I watched a little bit. And I kind of liked Manchester United at the time. But she talked so much about Arsenal, I was very interested in it. Then she wanted to know what to do in Alaska. So a lot of us on that airplane had been to Alaska before, so we're telling her all sorts of things to do. Go to the villages, go to the museum, go to this, go there. And she said, I'm only going to be here for 2 weeks. I can't do everything you said. And I said to her, well, you can come back another time. And she said, no, this is my trip of a lifetime. I kind of frowned. She said, her trip of a lifetime. She was a young lady. She was a little bit, I was a kind of a young man at the time. I was younger than, she was younger than I was. And she said, a trip of a lifetime. And so then she said, I'm very sick. And I realized that she was figuring this would be her trip, and then she wouldn't live much longer. It really touched me emotionally. One of the things that happened since then, I have become a big fan of Arsenal. So I follow Arsenal now. No more Manchester United. It's all Arsenal, all the Arsenal. So I like the Gunners. And it has, every time I watch a game, I think about her. I think, that this is her team. She worked for Arsenal. And I think about her. So that's one of the things where a life story can mean so much. I remember sitting next to a man who had made a lot of money, again, on an airplane, who made a lot of money in banking. He built several banks in America. And he sat there and we're talking, and he said, he mentioned his family. He had 3 daughters. And he said, if I had realized how much time I lost with my daughters by building these banks, I don't think I would have done it. He said, I lost touch with my daughters. While I was out building the bank, I was gone. I wasn't home. I wasn't there to, be there at the dinner table, to tuck them in at night, to read them stories when they were little, to watch them in their activities and that sort of thing. He said he very rarely made these big activities because he was busy building all these banks, making a lot of money. But he said the most important thing, the most valuable thing he lost was time with his daughters. And that was really sad, but that really impacted me. See, these are the life stories that mean so much. And just recently, I met a man who, like me, was in the Air Force. He retired. He and his wife worked for the State Department, and they were both stationed in Pakistan at one time. So I got their information, and if you would like to interview them, but he said he'd be interested in it. He was going to ask his wife if she would be interested, but if they're, you could ask him if he'd like to be interviewed sometime too. So that's something. I need another life story that can affect you right now.
Okay, so my last question is how can life experience teach a lesson that textbooks cannot?
That life stories can teach lessons that books cannot, in a couple ways. One is it's a very personal story when someone tells you, this is what I did when I was a young person, and this is what I did, and what I think about it now. Or it could be a very personal story as a young person where they say, oh, this is what I want to do when I grow up, or when I graduate from college, this is where I want to go. Those are very individual stories. Some of those stories could be a book. Some of them, but they're just more, there's more texture. It's more personal. Now I love reading books, but there's something different when someone tells you about their life. I grew up, when we were children together in the same neighborhood with a friend named Joe Romeo, and didn't see him for years. I went off to college. He went off to college. He did things. I did things. Didn't see him for years. And I said, so what are you doing? He said, well, I had a fishing business. He would go out in a boat and fish, and that's how he made money. They had, it was a professional fishing boat where they drop nets. They've got hundreds of fish. They bring them back and sell them and go out and do it again. Now that's pretty interesting. But he said he was in three ships that sank. He had to get out of those ships and get on his life jacket, get in a boat, and hope that somebody would rescue him. It happened to him 3 times. I said, you're kidding me. He said, oh, yeah, and that was only one of his interesting stories. He had lived a very interesting life. One day when you're my age, you will have a lot of interesting stories. And maybe I'll talk about, I got to interview people as a podcast when I was in school. You can share that with your children when they are talking about things they would like to do in school. But those are the things that you get from life stories. They're just little gems of people's lives, little things. And you take that information and you add it to your own. It's something that you use as knowledge to share with others and to provide motivation. I'll tell you one more life story that I know. There was a woman who became a widow. Her husband died in a horrible accident. And suddenly she had to go to work to support the family. 3 of her 4 children were in college, and they went to very expensive universities. And the youngest one was so upset by the death of her father that she needed medical care, and she didn't have any money because when the husband died, things happened and all the money went away. So she worked very hard to put her children, she told the children they wanted to get out of college so they could help earn money, get jobs to help the family. She told them, no, you will stay in college. I don't know how I'll do that, but I will do it. And she did. And her 3 children that were the oldest grew up to be, one is an executive chef with a large restaurant chain. One is actually two of them are both accountants. One has his own accounting firm that's very large. The other one is with a very large company, international company. And the youngest one has recovered from her emotional breakdown from the loss of her father. And now she is going to start college. So, I mean, this woman did all of that. Oh, and I forgot to mention, there was her husband's family blamed her for her husband's death, and it wasn't her fault at all. And so through all of that, she rose, she brought her children up, and she never lost her spirit or her sense of humor. She was never broken. She was never angry all the time or bitter. She always had just a joy in her heart. She's one of the most remarkable people I've ever met. So that's my last story. I have many more. We could do this again. I'll share more stories.
Okay, so please give me anybody advice.
Boy, could you say again, please? I have to turn my volume up or something. 1 second.
Okay, I'm saying please give me any advice for viewers who can see you, who can watch you, who can anybody advice
Okay.
for viewers.
Here's my advice to all young people is if you're doing something like this, keep on doing it, a podcast, interviewing, find ways to speak in front of organizations and learn about how people get along together, how they cooperate. You learn that in school. You watch people in school, but it's different in business. It's different in a family. It's different in a community. Those are the things that I think can help anybody in anything they do, any career, any interest that they have. If you learn how to connect with people and communicate with people, that will take you a long way. So that's my advice.
Okay, thank you, deep Rose. You are very giving me a very precious time for me in my show, and you come in my show. Thank you, and your journey is and your story, your memories is very interesting, and I some learn from you. And this your person, and I will appreciate for you again. And thank you for giving me your precious time. So this is our interview with yes name is Devrol. I hope you all liked it. We will meet in the next personality. Take care and Allah Hafiz. Pakistan Zindabad. Rehan School Zindabad. Allah Hafiz.